Hello friends, and welcome to Storytime. My name is Miss Maureen, and today we are going to be reading books about fairy tales. But before we do that, let's sing our hello song. When we sing hello, we will make a salute, and when we sing friends, we'll take our two fingers and have them give each other a hug. Hello friends, hello friends, hello friends, it's time to say hello. Good job! Today we are talking about fairy tales. A fairy tale is a story about magical beings or magical lands. What fairy tales do you know? Maybe Cinderella, Snow White, The Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood. There are so many. And those are just some of the classic fairy tales, or the ones that we tell many, many times. But new fairy tales are being written all the time. In fact, you can even write your own fairy tale. You should try it. Let's talk a little bit about the word fairy tale. What letter does fairy start with? It makes a f sound. Yeah, fairy starts with F. Can you make a letter F in the air? Try drawing it with your finger. F. If you have a piece of paper at home, you can also try writing it on your piece of paper. I am writing the letter F for fairy. F, A, I, R, Y. Fairy. Fairy tale is two words. Fairy is the first word, and tale is the second word. What letter does tail start with? It makes a t sound. That's right, it starts with the letter T. Can you draw a T in the air? T. If you have a piece of paper, you can try writing the letter T on your piece of paper. T for tail. T, A, L, E. Tail. Fairy tale. Great job! Why don't we learn how to say fairy tale using American Sign Language? Do you remember what letter fairy starts with? The letter F. Do you remember how to make the letter F using ASL? Just like that. F for fairy. T for tail. To sign fairy tale, we'll make our fairy sign, which we learned last week. If you don't remember, you take your two hands and have them pointing toward you, and then turn them out, flap them like fairy wings. Fairy. To sign tail, you're going to take both of your hands and sort of pull them apart from each other. Let's put them together. Fairy tale. Good job! Why don't we learn a couple other words to help us talk about fairy tales using American Sign Language? What about princess? Lots of fairy tales have princesses in them. What letter does princess start with? It makes a p sound. Princess. That's right. It starts with the letter P. Do you remember how to make the letter P? Take our first two fingers and turn them over like this with your thumb against them. P for princess. To sign the word princess, you'll take your letter P and draw it across your chest. Princess. Princess. Good job! Let's learn one more. Let's learn how to say castle. What letter does castle start with? It makes a k sound. Castle. That's right. That one's a little tricky because there's two letters that make a k sound. But castle starts with the letter C. C is for castle. To sign the letter C, cup your hand like this. Do you see how it looks like a letter C that you would write? C for castle. To sign the word castle, take your first two fingers on each of your hands, bring them together, and we're going to kind of outline the shape of a castle with a tower on it. Castle. Castle. Good job. So now you can talk about the princess who lives in a castle in the fairy tale. Good job, guys. Before we go on to our first book, why don't we do our alphabet together? If you like, you can pad along at home, or you can try to follow along with me while I sign the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Good job, friends. Our first book today is called Reading Beauty by Deborah Underwood, and it's illustrated by Meg Hunt. That means that she drew the pictures in the book. And this book is a retelling of a classic fairy tale that you might have heard before called Sleeping Beauty. See if you can spot the similarities or the things that are the same and the differences between traditional Sleeping Beauty and Reading Beauty. Reading Beauty. Once upon a planetoid, surrounded by book lovers, a princess, Lex, read morning, noon, and night beneath her covers. Lex's bedroom brimmed with books. She read them at top speed. She even trained her puppy, Prince, to fetch her things to read. Smart boy. But on her 15th birthday, Lex awoke. Her books were gone. She raced to find her parents. Make them stop! What's going on? They answered with a story. Long ago, when you were small, we had a celebration and invited one and all. But while the guests were toasting you, we heard a muffled shout. A fairy burst in, furious that she had been left out. How could you not invite me? I must say I'm rather miffed. But wait, we did. Be quiet and let me give your Lex a gift. Like all you wretched readers, Lex will live for reading, but when she's 15, she'll flip a page and get a paper cut. The paper cut will bring a curse. A death-like sleep will take her. She'll stay that way forever. Only true love's kiss will wake her. That's why we hid the books away, her mother said, dejected. For any book could cut you, and you need to be protected. Without its books, their world grew bleak. Consumed by dark and gloom, Lex watched the shadows spreading from the windows in her room. It's all my fault, she said to Prince. I can't let things get worse. I'll fly to find the fairy, then I'll make her break the curse. Prince's nose picked up a scent. Good dog. Those books, I need 'em. We'll bring a bot to pack them up and hold them while I read them. Lex started off with how to fly, then how to find a fairy, and stories gave her courage when the trip got rough and scary. Meanwhile, in her fairy lair, the fairy shrieked, "It's Lex! She won't get me. I'll stop her with the thorny hedges hex." A wall of thorns around her home. Nice try, but she can't hide. A garden book helped Lex cook up a homemade herbicide. The hedge dissolved to shriveled bits so Lex and Prince could land. The fairy said, "That girl is doomed. I've something special planned. I'll tempt her with the thing she loves, a gorgeous poisoned book entitled How to Lift a Curse. She'll have to take a look." Zap zip, a glowing book appeared. Prince sniffed. "What's this?" Lex said. The fairy listened through the door. No sounds. She must be dead. The fairy inched near sleeping Lex to check her now closed eyes. But Lex sprang up and grabbed her wand and said, "Hello, surprise! I've got quite good at faking sleep when I was just a kid, so I could read past bedtime. Now about that curse you did. That curse will last forever. You will never change my mind." Then Prince nudged Lex's leg and barked. Lex looked. "What did you find?" It says, "You are invited to a royal ball to celebrate the birth of Princess Lex." "You were invited to my ball. We thought this didn't reach you. Wait, can it be that you can't read? Don't worry, I will teach you." "Me? Read?" In her excitement, the poor fairy didn't think. She touched the book. She turned ghost white and crumpled in a blink. "The fairy cursed herself," cried Lex. "We need to get her help, quick." Prince ran up and gave the fairy's face a sloppy lick. The fairy slowly came to life. "What happened? I'm not dead?" "Oh, Prince loves everyone," Lex shrugged. She smiled and scratched his head. It's always true love's kiss when it's a dog. So Lex came home, the books came back, the land was filled with laughter. The fairy found a job, and all read happily ever after. The end. Do you know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk? That's the one where a boy, Jack, has to sell his favorite cow so that he can make some money so that his family can eat. But Jack, instead of selling it for money, he trades his cow for some magical beans. His mom does not believe that the beans are magical, so she throws them out of the house. But the next morning, a huge beanstalk grows up out of where the beans were thrown, all the way up to the sky. Jack is a curious little boy, so he wants to go see what's at the top of that beanstalk, and we're going to help him climb it. I have, in my little basket, a couple of numbers on sheets of paper. So I'm going to pull a number, and you guys are going to help me count how many leaves Jack climbs up. We're going to try to add up so we can get him to the top. Okay? So let's see what our first number is. It's the number 2. So let's have Jack climb up 2 of the sprouts. Can you count with me? 1, 2. Ooh. Well, he's getting up there, but he still has some work to do. So let's see if we can help him out some more. All right, this time he climbs up how many spaces? 3 spaces. So let's add 3 to that. We have 2. Need to go up 3 more. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. So now Jack is halfway up the beanstalk. But he still has some more to go. Let's see if we can help him out. Oh, not very far this time. He is taking 1 step, 1 leaf up. Okay, can we add 1 to 5? 5 plus 1, 6. So he still has a little bit of ways to go. Let's see if we can get him to the top this time. He gets to move 4 spaces this time. So he's on 6. Let's see if we can get him to 10 with 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. Jack is at the top. But what does he see at the top? It's a giant. And he does not look friendly. We have to get Jack back down that beanstalk. So I'm going to pull some numbers out of my basket, and we're going to subtract them from 10 to get him back on the ground. All right, let's see how far we can move it the first round. Okay, we can go down 3 spaces. All right, so we're at 10. We want to go down 3. So 10, 9, 8, 7. 10 minus 3 is 7. So he's climbing down, but he's not down yet. He's still very close to the top. So let's do some more. Okay. How many can we go down this turn? 2. All right. Let's go down 2 more. So we're at 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. Minus 2 is 5. So he's halfway down, but we still have to climb a little further till we're safe. Let's see how far we can go this time. Okay, 4 spaces. That's a lot of spaces. So let's subtract 4 from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we almost got to the bottom with that, but we're still 1 space away from the ground. And once he's on the ground, he can cut down the beanstalk, and the giant can't get him. All right, let's see if we can get him down 1 more space. 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Jack's back on the ground, and he wants to cut that beanstalk down. Let's help him. All right, let's give it 3 big whacks with our axe, okay? 1, 2, it's falling. 3, oh, we did it. Jack and his mom are safe. And they get the cow back. Let's see what book we have next. Our next book is called After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again by Santat. Do you know the rhyme about Humpty Dumpty? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. But in this book, they do put him together again. And this book tells the story that comes after the fall. After the fall. How Humpty Dumpty got back up again. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I love being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. Sort of famous for that part. Folks called it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. Why do you think he's sleeping on the floor now? After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. You can't get up to the good cereals. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city. But I could never do it, because I knew that accidents can happen. I eventually settled for watching birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. Making plans was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches, but day after day, I kept trying and trying until I got it just right. Wow. My plane was perfect, and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Unfortunately, accidents happen. They always do. Oh no. This plane's going right on top of the wall. I almost walked away again. But then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing, one step at a time. Until I was no longer afraid. He did it. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Hopefully, you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. What's happening to Humpty? What's coming out of him? Oh. And learn to fly. He was a bird all along. He just had to face his fears. Try again. The end. In the back. Let's stand up and move around a little. For our first movement song, we are going to sing Ring Around the Rosie. At the end, we are going to fall down just like Humpty Dumpty does in his rhyme. But let's make sure to be safe so we don't break ourselves like Humpty. So instead of holding hands together, since we're all in separate places, we're just going to spin around on our own in our own little circle, okay? Ready? Ring around the rosy, pockets full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Good job. For this next one, I'm going to use a couple of shaker eggs. And you can make shakers at home. you just need some kind of container, like an empty plastic bottle or maybe a tiny Tupperware, and something to put in it to make the noise. So like dried beans, maybe dried rice, some beads, maybe tiny little rocks that you find outside. See what you have around the house. I'm sure you have something. And just make sure to put the cap back on or clip your cap on, whatever kind of container you have, and get yourself a shaker. Alright, so we're going to start by, if you have your shaker, shaking it to the beat. If you don't have a shaker, then you can just clap to the beat. And when we raise our hands, just keep clapping. When we go down, keep clapping or shaking, whatever you're doing. Grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were in the middle, they were neither up nor down. Good job. How about we do that slower this time? The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down. And when they were in the middle, they were neither up nor down. Good job. Let's try it one more time, and let's see if we can go fast this time. All right? Let's see. The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill, and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were in the middle, they were neither up nor down. Woo! Good job. Do you know the story of the 3 billy goats Gruff? That's the story where there are 3 billy goat brothers. There is the littlest billy goat Gruff. There is a medium-sized billy goat Gruff. And there is a very big billy goat Gruff. And I know all my goats are the same size, so we just have to use our imagination, okay? And these billy goats, they need grass to eat, but their meadow has no grass in it. Luckily, just across the pond, there is a meadow that is filled with delicious, luscious grass. The only problem is that they have to cross a bridge to get there. And that doesn't sound like a big problem. But this bridge has a mean troll living under it. Uh-oh. How are the billy goat Gruff going to get across? Well, let's see. First to go is the littlest billy goat Gruff. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. Who is tripping over my bridge? Oh, just me. I'm the littlest billy goat Gruff. Why are you crossing my bridge? I'm just going over to the other side to get some grass. Oh, no you aren't. I'm gonna eat you up. No, don't eat me. Just wait a moment and my bigger brother is going to come. You should eat him. He's much bigger. The troll thinks about this, and it sounds like a good deal. You can pass. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. And the littlest billy goat Gruff finds himself in the meadow, munching on delicious grass. Next, the second billy goat Gruff comes across. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. Who is tripping over my bridge? It's me, the second billy goat Gruff. I'm just trying to cross the bridge to eat some delicious grass. Oh, no you aren't. I'm gonna eat you up. Oh, don't eat me up. You know what? You should wait a minute. My bigger brother will be coming across the bridge any minute. He'll be much more food for you. The troll thinks about this, and he thinks that sounds like a good deal. You can pass. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. So the second billy goat Gruff makes his way to the meadow and he gets to eat delicious grass. But we still have one billy goat Gruff that needs to cross the bridge. I wonder what happens when he tries. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip. Oh, he is so big that the bridge is groaning and creaking under his weight. Who's that tripping across my bridge?
It's me, the biggest billy goat Gruff. I am going across the bridge to eat some grass.
Oh, no you aren't. I'm coming up there to eat you.
You could try, Troll, but I have my strong horns and my strong hooves.
Well, the troll was very greedy and he didn't care that the billy goat Gruff was so big and so strong. He wanted to eat them all up. So he climbs up onto the bridge, but the biggest billy goat Gruff was really big, and he took his big billy goat horns and he pop, whoa, splash, knocked him into the river, and he floated all the way downstream. So the biggest billy goat Gruff, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, crossed the bridge and joined his brothers. And they've been there ever since, eating all the delicious grass that their hearts desire. The end. I have a song for us to sing about Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Do you know that story? That's the story where a little girl goes into someone else's house and she eats their porridge and she sits in their chairs and she sleeps in their beds, and then it turns out that they were bears. So she has to run away. So we're going to tell that story using a song. And we have some hand movements that you can do along with me at home. So what's the first thing that Goldilocks does when she gets to the house? Yes, she eats their porridge. When Goldilocks got to the house of the bears, oh, what did her little eye see? A bowl that was big, a bowl that was small, a bowl that was tiny, but that's not all. She counted them 1, 2, 3. Do you think you can remember those movements? You will look through Goldilocks' eyes. Big, small, tiny. And then we will count 1, 2, 3 on our fingers. So what should we count next? Goldilocks went into the house and she tasted the porridge. Where does she go next? To the sitting area, and she sees the chairs. When Goldilocks got to the house of the bears, what did her little eye see? A chair that was big, a chair that was small, a chair that was tiny, but that's not all. She counted them 1, 2, 3. Good job! So she ate the porridge, she sat in the chairs. What comes next? What does she see next in the house? Their beds. When Goldilocks went to the house of the bears, oh, what did her little eye see? A bed that was big, a bed that was small, a bed that was tiny, but that's not all. She counted them 1, 2, 3. Good job. What comes next? What's the next thing that she sees? She goes to bed, in the bed, and she sees the bears when she wakes up. When Goldilocks went to the house of the bears, oh, what did her little eye see? A bear that was big, a bear that was small, a bear that was tiny, but that's not all. She ran away 1, 2, 3. Good job, guys. I have one more book for us. This book is called Fairy Tale Pets. It's written by Tracey Corderoy and it's illustrated by Jorge Martin. This one is its own fairy tale, but it takes a lot of characters from lots of fairy tales that you probably will recognize. It actually takes a couple from some fairy tales we touched on today. So see if you can spot the characters from the stories that we talked about today. Fairy Tale Pets. fairy-tale pets. Bob lived on a nice, neat hill, in a nice, neat house with neat roses. His dog, named Rex, was friendly and smart, and he was very quiet and neat for a dog. Their life was perfectly neat and fine, except they were very, very poor. "I need to find a job," said Bob, "but what could I do?" Then Bob remembered he loved animals, and the neighborhood was full of them. "That's it! I'll take care of pets," he cried. "Easy." So that night, Bob and Rex put up posters all around town. They said, "Need help with your pets? Then Bob and Rex are here for you. We walk dogs, we cat sit, we house hamsters. No pet too big or too small. Come to the house on the hill." Have you ever seen a pet giraffe? That'd be pretty cool. "All ready," said Bob the next day when, ding dong, the first pet arrived. "Hi," beamed a little golden-haired girl. "Could you please take care of my baby bear while I'm on vacation?" Bear?" gulped Bob. He'd been expecting hamsters and bunnies. "Don't worry," said the girl. "He's such a little sweetheart." And waving goodbye, she skipped away. But then the little sweetheart found his voice. "Someone's been eating my porridge. Someone's been sitting on my chair. And someone's been sleeping in my bed." No," stuttered Bob. "That's Rex's bed." But in jumped the bear and crack! "Oh my," cried Bob, staring at the mess. But the bear didn't care, because now he had a splinter. Wah! No sooner had Bob gotten the splinter out when... ding dong! Another pet arrived. "I'm Jack," said a boy at the door. "Can you take care of Gabby, my goose?" "Phew," smiled Bob. "Much easier than a bear." Jack took some beans from his pocket. "Take these in return," he said. "Beans?" asked Bob, as he took the goose in. Now where should we put her, he wondered. But Gabby soon found the perfect spot for her nest. Uh-oh. "Someone's been sitting on my head," grumbled Baby Bear, "and she's still there. Look!" "Don't worry," gasped Bob. "We'll get her down." But the goose did not want to be moved. She fluttered and flapped. She pecked and squawked. Then suddenly, out popped a big, heavy egg. Crash! "Good heavens!" exclaimed Bob. "Too noisy!" cried Baby Bear. Wah! Whoa. Poor Rex had barely cleaned things up when... ding dong! "Not more pets!" groaned Bob with a heavy sigh. He opened the door to see a rather green lady glaring back.
"Here," she said in a growly voice. "Take these nice, quiet billy goats."
"No, wait," pleaded Bob. "We don't have any room for all three." But the goats were already inside. Trip, trap, went their clunky hooves, tripping over teapots, trampling over tables, and... "Ow, they stepped on my toes," squealed Baby Bear. Wah. What a ruckus. "Shh," whispered Bob. "You'll scare the goose." But it was too late. Honk, Gabby hooted, and out tumbled several more eggs. They thumped and bumped and bashed and crashed. "No," wailed Bob. "The house is a wreck." "That's it. No more pets." But just when Bob thought that things couldn't get any worse, 3 little pigs skipped up to the house. Our, puppy needs a walk, the leader cried. He's really friendly. Honest. Bob looked at the puppy. It was positively huge. I'm sorry, we're full, he exclaimed. But the puppy just opened its big, wolfy mouth full of big, sharp, wolfy teeth. Then it huffed, and it puffed, and it blew the house down. Meh, wah, honk, honk, honk. Oh, Rex, gasped Bob. I am done with pet sitting. The problem was, what else could he do? Then out of his pocket fell one of Jack's beans. That's it. I'll be a gardener, Bob decided, planting all the beans at once. Soon they would grow, and he'd sell them off at the market. And he and Rex would live happily ever after. Hooray, cheered Bob, with a great big smile. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Do you think anything can go wrong with that plan? The end.
Wow. We did a lot of storytelling today in so many different ways.
What are some of the ways that we told stories today? We read books. We told oral stories using props. We sang stories. We played a game to tell stories. We pretended. So many ways to tell stories. Why don't you pick your favorite story from today and retell it to somebody in your house? How are you going to tell them the story? You could write it down. You can draw a picture. You can just tell them using your words. Maybe you can act it out. How will you tell stories today? Well, that's it for story time today, friends. I do have an at-home activity after we sing goodbye, so stick around for that. We'll be back with another story time on Saturday, and I'll be back again with a story time next Thursday. So please come back and join us. If you want to sign up for our Zoom story times, you can email me at the email below. Please visit us on Facebook and our website and on Instagram. All of those links, all those pages are linked in the description. And I will see you all next week. Let's sing our goodbye song before we go into our at-home activity. We're going to wave, and we're going to clap. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. We clap our hands for all our friends and wave goodbye like this. Goodbye, friends.
For today's craft, we are going to need 1 or 2 full sheets of colored paper, whatever color you want your crown to be, some pieces of scrap paper, a pencil, glue, scissors, either some tape or a stapler, and something to color with. First, cut your paper lengthwise. I thought I would need 4 strips, but in the end I only needed 2. So I would say start with 2 and then cut more as you need them. Tape or staple your pieces of paper end to end. Cut triangles out of one side of your paper to make the points of your crown. Wrap your crown around your head so that it feels like it fits comfortably, and ask somebody to help you by making a mark where the paper overlaps. Now it's time to decorate. This is where you get to get really creative. You can cut out pieces of paper and glue them onto your crown. You can color on your crown. You can do a little bit of both. Maybe you have glitter at home or sequins that you want to add to your crown. Do whatever you like. This is your crown. Remember that mark we made on our crowns? Use that to guide you so you know where to tape or staple your crown shut. Now, you have your very own crown, and you can use that to create your own fairy tales. Have fun!